Hi, good morning, Phillies fans. Welcome back to the Titans Final here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network with your boy Matty B on the call. And the Phillies fall tonight 5-0 to the Dodgers, failing to capture the series sweep. But all in all, a very productive series. A lot of great stuff happened in this series. But tonight, nothing really going on for the Phillies offensively. Jesus Luzardo struggled. He went 7, but he threw over 100 pitches. So, that's, I don't know, maybe 4 earned runs, labored, struggling. He was backed up by absolutely no offense as the Phillies only managed 3 hits tonight against Blake Snell and the rest of the Dodgers as they prevailed 5-0. And same type of situation where we've kind of seen in the past. Freddie Freeman, big night, 2 hits, a homer. He's part of that Dodger killer that we have to face every time we play this team, along with Mookie Betts. So tonight, 5-0 as a lifeless offensive approach or lifeless offense for the Phillies dooms them out in LA, and it's now on to Arizona and the second leg of this West Coast trip. Good evening or good morning. I don't know where at in the world you might be listening to me. It's a little after 12:30 here on the East Coast, and I have the honor of being the first Titans final in this series that actually debuted right after the game. So it was a rough series for us over here, but we were able to get it done tonight. But I wish it had been a lot more exciting game to watch, especially offensively, but it wasn't. Does this put a blanket or a damper on the just the great play that this team has been playing over the past 3 weeks? I don't know, maybe not. Blake Snell's a good pitcher, but you gotta try to get more than 3 hits. Phillies might be on a different mode. Is this part of the kind of taking the foot off the gas as we are running down the home stretch of this? I don't know. It was just really not a fun game to watch. It was very boring, especially for a game that was on quite late in the evening. Mickey, how are you tonight? Thanks for joining me on this early morning edition of the Titans Final. Unfortunately, I can't report anything happy. Let's get into the nuts and bolts of this game. Phillies, no runs on 3 hits, an error. Dodgers, 5 runs on 7 hits, no errors. I mentioned Freddie Freeman, sort of the thorn in the side of the Phillies, and that continues tonight. 2 for 4 with a run scored, an RBI, and a homer. Ohtani, 1 for 4 as the man pitched last night and DH'd as well, or pitched and hit, and then he comes right back at it and DHs tonight. And he gets himself a home run. So truly, Shohei Ohtani, definitely worth the money anybody wants to spend on him is, defying the odds, so to speak. But Ohtani and Freeman, Rojas and Pagas again, having their way with Phillies pitching. On the Phillies offensive side with 3 hits, there's really not much to talk about. Harrison Bader in the leadoff spot. One of the 3 hits, then Castellanos with a hit, and then Bryson Stott with a hit. Everybody else was not good, as there was no production at all throughout this lineup, as Blake Snell had this team guessing. The Phillies were 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position tonight. They left 6 on base. Dodgers were 2 for 4 with runners in scoring position. They left 4 on base. Luzardo, as I mentioned, goes 7 innings, but very labored 7, 106 pitches in those 7 innings. That's never good. 6 hits, 4 runs. They were earned a walk and 6 strikeouts, and he gave up 2 more home runs. Phillies pitching, if there's another kind of aspect to the playoffs that I don't think many people are talking about, it's been the amount of home runs that Phillies pitching have given up this season. I think now they're up to I want to say about 130 home runs, and that's off the charts. That's not good. It's been a problem all season. It started very early on in the first series against the Nationals, and it has not gotten any better as the season has progressed. Definitely something to be keeping an eye on as we move into the playoffs. Kerkering comes in and pitches an inning and gives up a hit, gives up a run, and strikes out 1. Snell went 7 as well for the Dodgers, gave up 2 hits, no runs, 2 walks, and he struck out 12 Phillies. So again, not a very good offensive performance for the Phillies. Vessa and Scott would come on in relief. And scoring summary on this, all Dodgers. Freddie Freeman would get it going in the second as the Dodgers would throw together a 2-run second inning. He was started off with a solo home run. And then Roveltit would knock in Rojas to make it 2-0. The Dodgers would tack on some more in the fourth with Hernandez scoring with a single and make it 3-0. Ohtani with the homer in the eighth and make it 4-0. And then Tommy Edman with the sac fly in the eighth as well to make it 5-0. And that's how you get 5-0 in this very boring game that have to stay up till 1 o'clock in the morning to watch and report on. It's just not fun. As I mentioned, Phillies will be off now tomorrow, and then they'll head to Arizona for a 3-game set. And, of course, here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, we got you covered, and here you are. First look at the Arizona Diamondbacks series. So it'll be Big Al on Friday. Pat will be here on Saturday, and I will have you on Sunday afternoon or Sunday early evening, actually, as it's a 4 o'clock start local time here in the Delaware Valley. So there you go. There's our Fighting's final schedule for the weekend. No games tomorrow as they'll have a day off as they travel from LA to Arizona. And then we'll get this thing back going on Friday night for the Phillies and the Diamondbacks in that series on Friday. We'll get it kicked off with a battle between Walker Buehler and Ryan Nelson as Buehler will get his second start in a Phillies uniform. And he will pitch Friday night as the Phillies have gone to that 6-man rotation. So there you go. Let's take you. Let's do our Broad Street bottom line. Now, Blake Snell's a good pitcher. He's always been a good pitcher, and he's always had some success against the Phillies. But, 3 hits and 12 strikeouts, you're just not going to win many baseball games. Now, I'm not going to get Debbie Downerish on this game. To sort of throw a rain cloud over what was accomplished this week out in L.A. Not only did they go out and clinch the NL East, and then they came back in a game right after that and played better than they did in the game that they clinched in. So I'm not going to sit here and be ultra critical of this baseball team in this game tonight. Is it reminiscent, though, of a lot of games that we've watched this season where the team just sort of dies and they all die together? It's not just one person, but the entire team goes together. Yeah, and does that conjure up some very bad memories of some bad baseball this year? And does it give you a warm and fuzzy heading into October? No, of course it doesn't. But it is just one game. And, you got to look at it sort of in that macro area and not be so micro all the time. And I understand that. Jesus Luzardo, though, continues to be another, if you're going to look macro, let's look micro. And then let's look at Jesus Luzardo's pitching effort tonight. And I guess that's all what it really comes down to for me at this point, is looking at players as we get ready to head to October and what we could have possibly expect from these players. And Jesus Luzardo has been up and down all season long after getting off to that very hot start for this team. And it has just not been a consistent ride from him. And with all the uncertainty around Aaron Nola, and of course, not having Zach Wheeler and potentially having to rely on a 45-year-old Walker Buehler, you need Luzardo to be better. And we've been waiting for a few months now for that better Luzardo to come around. And tonight was a labored 7 innings where he threw over 100 pitches. I'm not going to put this in his a good start for him. It wasn't. He threw a lot of pitches, got into a lot of jams, worked out of some of them, gave up 2 home runs, and that's just not good. It's not good. Now, did they leave him in there a little longer to sort of save a bullpen? If the answer is yes, I don't really understand why with the day off tomorrow. I don't know why you would leave him out there. He didn't get into many big inning situations. He was able to pitch his way out of some of those jams. It's just the home runs. The home runs will kill you, and it's been killing Phillies pitching a lot this season. And as we get down to the stretch and looking at, especially if we're going to keep hurting out our starters that are going to pitch in October, you got to look at this thing and be like, we need a little bit better from Luzardo. And we've been waiting for a better version of Luzardo for the last 3 months. And I don't know if he's holding on to the best for last and he's holding on to the best for October, but it's been madly frustrating watching him pitch throughout this season. What can I say about the offense? The team struck out 12 times tonight. It's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. And production was non-existent from anywhere in the lineup. Harrison Bader continues to amaze with his abilities offensively. He gets one of the 3 hits. Nick Castellanos and Bryson Stott with the other 2 hits. You're playing 9 innings of baseball and all you can muster is 3 hits. And, it's just, again, I don't know how you're going to win baseball games. So tonight, one of those games, one of those really, really bad, frustrating games. And, 1 o'clock in the morning and all that really sucks. So Phillies lose tonight 5-0. So, well, let's head around the bases on this Thursday morning. All right. Here's your scores from Major League Baseball from all the games from earlier tonight. All these games are, of course, final. It was 8-4 Cubs over the Pirates. It was the Reds 6-2 over the Cardinals. Orioles 3-1 winners over the White Sox. Giants 6-1 winners over Arizona. Arizona, actually, San Francisco is headed to LA, while the Phillies are headed to Arizona. The Braves beat the Nationals 9-4. Guardians 4-0 winners over the Tigers. It was 5-4 Red Sox over the A's. 2-1 Tampa over the Blue Jays. 7-4 Padres over the Mets. It's interesting. And 9-2 Brewers over the Angels. 10-5 Yankees beat the Twins. 7-5 Royals over the Mariners. And it was the Astros 5-2 over the Rangers. And Miami beats Colorado 8-4. And of course, here in LA for our game, it was 5-0 Dodgers, as the Phillies failed to capture the series sweep. We've won 33 series this year, 33, but have only swept. We only have 8 series sweeps. That's actually down from 2024. I believe it was 11 last year, and we only have 8 this year. So I know it's not necessarily, they can't sweep teams. They've won 33 series, and that's pretty damn good. They've won their last 6 series. Now we go to Arizona. And I guess the question still remains, do you fight hard and push hard for that number 1 overall in the NL, or is it time to sort of kind of just lighten up a little bit and start giving these guys some time off? But let's quickly take a look at baseball standings as of this early morning hour. Out in the American League, Toronto holds that 4-game lead over the Yankees in the AL East. Baltimore has been eliminated from playoff contention. In the Central, Detroit's holding that 4.5 game, 4.5 game lead over the Guardians. Minnesota and the White Sox are also mathematically out. Out in the West, it is Houston with a half a game lead over Seattle as they're continuing to battle it out. The A's and Angels are gone for the season as they've been eliminated. In the National League, of course, your 2025 NL East champ Phillies. They won their division. In the Central, the Brewers and Cubs have both clinched playoff berths. The Cubs did it last night. The Cubs are still mathematically alive in the Central race. They're 5 games off the pace from the Brewers. The Pirates and Nationals have been eliminated from playoff contention. And out West, another dogfight between the Dodgers and the Padres. Now a 1.5 lead the Dodgers have over the Padres, as we're coming down to the wild and crazy finish of the season. American League wild card, Yankees, Mariners, and Red Sox are all currently your wild card teams in the American League, with the Guardians 2.5 games back and the Rangers 4.5 games. In the National League, of course, the Cubs, who have clinched a playoff spot, are one of the, either the Cubs or the Brewers are going to be one of the other wild cards. San Diego and the Mets are the other 2. Arizona will enter play Friday night, a 1.5 behind the Mets. So this is interesting. An interesting situation that the Phillies are going to walk into in Arizona. Do you let the Arizona Diamondbacks win so that they can knock out the Mets? I mean, do you approach it like that? I mean, or do you go at it and try to beat the Diamondbacks? But the Diamondbacks will head into Friday's game against the Phillies right now, a 1.5 behind the Mets. So what do you do here? Do you try to help out the Diamondbacks? I don't know. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Cincinnati's also 2 games off the pace, and the Giants are also 2 games off the pace, and the Cardinals sort of on the outside looking in at 4.5 games back of the wild card. So the National League wild card pretty tight, as these teams are jockeying for position probably right to the very end in this race. So there you have it. There's your look around the standings, your look around major leagues, and your somewhat in-depth analysis of a 5-0 snooze fest out in Los Angeles, where the Phillies managed 3 hits. And Jesus Luzardo went 7 very wildly inconsistent innings where he threw 106 pitches. And none of that equals to any kind of success for the Phillies, as they lost 5-0. Won the season series, though, against the Dodgers. Of course, clinched the NL East, and then came back in the hangover game and were able to win and play better than they did in the game before that. So, yeah, there's a lot of positives you pull from this game. So, I'll take those positives right now as we move on to Arizona. And here on the It's a Wrap Sports Network, because we're coming down the stretch of the week, don't worry. We've saved the best for last for you tomorrow or tonight, later on. Don't forget, that's a 5 o'clock start for the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. We had to move that time up to 5 p.m. Kyle, 94 WIP's Kyle Quinn will join me as he does every week, and we'll break down what was and what will be for the Eagles this week. At 9 o'clock, you have actually at 8 o'clock, we have another new show. The Gridiron Weekly will premiere at 8 o'clock tonight. And then 9 o'clock, you got the Attacking Third, and then I'll be back in about 24 hours from now with the final word. Tomorrow, the wraparound, and then the Phillies Diamondbacks post-game with the final, and on Saturday as well for the Phillies and Diamondbacks. So there's the rest of your week on the network as we head towards the weekend. And the Phillies leave Los Angeles potentially for the final time this season. Maybe not. Maybe we see them again in the playoffs. And, the same names are on our minds. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Ohtani. The Dodgers are you can't sleep on the Dodgers. I know they've not necessarily had the greatest of seasons. It's been a tight race out all season long. It's been a great race between them and the Padres all season. Both those teams are making the playoffs. I highly believe that. You can't sleep on the Dodgers. They're the defending world champions for a reason. They still have the firepower. The pitching is kind of sus, but they can still bat the ball anywhere out the park. And anytime you have Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman, you got to be careful. So, but we took the season series, and more importantly, we clinched the NL East while we were there earlier in the week. Now it's on to bigger and better things in Arizona, where the Diamondbacks will enter play about a game and a half behind the Mets in the wild card race. So, an interesting little thing could play out this weekend in Arizona with the Phillies and Diamondbacks. That's going to do it, folks. I'm going to bed. Yeah, thanks for staying up, and I do apologize from the bottom of my heart to all those that were waiting to see the Vikings final all weekend. It's normal time, just couldn't get it together. I couldn't Monday night. Steve asked me last night if it was okay if he did his today. I'm not going to tell him no when I did it, so that's how it went down. But tonight, I am here to make all that right by coming on the air during our actual scheduled time. But it's hard for me to sit here and get excited and talk in length about a 5-0 3-hit affair by the Phillies. Just it's not a good game. A very boring game that once again brought out all the bad things that we've seen from the Phillies all season. And Harrison Bader, I guess, is a positive. He continues to play well. Continues to make his decision about when Trey Turner returns to the lineup. What do you do with Bader? Talked about it, I think, yesterday. Do you bench Castellanos in the playoffs and play an outfield of Bader, Marsh, and Kepler? Do you bench Bader? I mean, I think you play the hot hand. So more fun to come as we'll make those decisions as we get deeper into this. But that's going to wrap me up tonight. I want to wish you guys a great rest of your night. Depending on, again, where you're listening at. Some people could be listening to this on Friday morning, like sun up Friday morning. Others could be listening to it still kind of late Thursday night. I am doing it at around 1 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday morning. So I'm going to wrap this bad boy up. You guys enjoy the rest of your night. We'll be back tomorrow or later today with our regularly scheduled programming. Here it is again. We got the Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn at 5 p.m., not 7. You got the Gridiron Weekly premiering at 8, the Attacking Third at 9, and the final word with me, Matty B, at 10 o'clock tonight. So enjoy the rest of your night. Good night. Have a good sleep. I'll see you guys later on today